And welcome back, everyone. We're wrapping up the week of Who Would Win. Just got the speed round tomorrow to do, and then Who Would Win's done. I mean, Who Win's never done, but you know what I mean. We're back to basically the regular scheduled program. I'll have another Who Would Win on Friday, but half the week is the same schedule of week. So, from Blackheart Shaman Jr. and Nazarish Kraus, if I got that right, this is who would win in a fight? Soifon, Captain Soifon from Bleach, versus Kazuma from Kazuma Stigma, or Kaze no Stigma, Stigma of the Wind, which is the translation. Now, obviously, anyone who's been watching me long enough knows that I am a big fan of Bleach. I know a lot about Bleach. But believe it or not, I actually own this anime, Kaze no Stigma. This is one of the few anime I actually know a lot about because I actually own it. Yeah, I was on a kick for a while back in my, years ago, back when, before streaming really started to kick off. And I'm like, maybe once a month or once a week I'll try to buy a new anime and just try add it in my collection and all that if I like it, or to see if I like it or not. And, maybe I should still try doing that if I can continue to find DVDs at all. But regardless, so both these characters do use some wind-based abilities. Obviously, Kazuma is a lot more skilled than that because that's his primary ability. In the manga, his abilities actually go further. He's learned, I think, just about every form of elemental magic, save for fire, which he has no skill in. But in the anime, he's predominantly using wind, and I believe can use lightning to some degree because enough static electricity is formed when you grind wind together. But yeah, he is a wind contractor. Now, what a contractor is in Kazuma's world is someone who's made a deal with the elemental spirit king of that respective element, or the leader of that element, or whatever you want to call it. I know it was the wind spirit king or something like that in his case. And it allows you to pretty much have all the abilities and power of that individual, and even further, you kind of have a pseudo avatar state. Where, not even pseudo, kind of your own version of the avatar state, where you can literally absorb the energy of the spirits of that respective element around you to heighten your power, apparently 100 times over. Because he predominantly relies on wind, he is capable of pretty much doing anything the wind allows you to do. He can fly, he can shoot wind gusts, he can do wind blades, he can do wind shields, he can even purify certain spirits. He is exceptionally powerful. He is, by and large, the strongest character in the series. Beyond the basics, the more finite abilities he has include some, not quite light speed level feats, but he's capable of blocking bullets in midair. He's capable of killing spirits. He is even capable of slicing through. Now, this was, I think, one of his most impressive feats. Slicing through with a wind blade, if I remember correctly, the scene, I remember from the anime, there was characters that kind of had them in this sort of repeating room and this, not repeating room, but kind of like a looped maze, and they were remotely viewing them from their lair. Well, he ultimately looked up at them, like looking at the camera, and that was staring at him, and just said, yeah, no, and sliced through that. More or less, he kind of sliced through a different spatial area, which is insanely and nuts levels of power to be doing. So he is very powerful, but he can tax himself like anyone else. He can tire himself out, particularly if he uses the enhanced state, which is, we'll call it the avatar state. The avatar state. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. He's capable in hand-to-hand combat as well. He's very intelligent. So he's definitely someone that you do not want to mess with, especially in his world. Soifon. Soifon is the captain of the 2nd Division of the Gotei 13. Now, their specialty is stealth and assassination. She is a master in both of those. She is a master, and I mean a master martial artist, being really only bested by her mentor, Yoruichi. And although we've never seen Urahara, that's another thing. Urahara, another character, is also highly skilled in hand-to-hand combat, though we've never actually seen him engage in hand-to-hand combat when you really think about it. The closest we've seen is with him training Ichigo, and even then he's using his sword in combination with it. And he is exceptionally skilled. So apart from Yoruichi and maybe Urahara, who is the stronger between the two of them, there really aren't, I should say, many characters who can match her in straight skill and hand-to-hand, unless it's just sheer power over skill. So there's that. She's one of the fastest characters in the series. Now, most Shinigami know an ability called Flash Step / Shumpo. Translation, whatever you want to go, Japanese or American. Or vice versa, I should say. And that more or less gives you light speed-esque levels of speed. Like, the more you master it, the faster you can go. She can move so fast she can create after images. She can dodge Seros, which are essentially energy beams. They're more or less spiritual laser beams, is what they are. And they usually are calced kind of around light speed-esque figures. Most Shinigami are capable of moving at relative light speeds, if not faster than it. And her being one of the fastest, I mean, she's immediately got light speed at least several times over. Now, it might not seem that way in the series, but keep in mind, we are seeing these fights in their time, not necessarily in how us as humans would perceive it. So just because you're seeing something, it's like, oh, they're not really moving. They're probably moving fast, but you then have to stop realizing they can't really gauge. You can't gauge how fast they're really moving. You just can't. Physically, she's powerful physically, but admittedly, she's not a physical powerhouse in the sense of her physical strength. That's not where her abilities lie. Her abilities lie in hand-to-hand combat, stealth. She's able to just hide her presence very well, and assassination, which leans itself towards her other abilities. Now, as you can see, she's got wind on her back, which is, I think, one of the reasons this match is chosen. She has an ability called Shunko, which is combining the Shinigami magic arts of Kido, basically just different spells or whatnot, with her hand-to-hand combat, which in her case creates giant wind tornadoes and gusts of wind that can just, level a landscape. But when she wants to lean more towards her assassination capabilities, and she also knows a fair bit of Kido as well. When she wants to lean towards her assassination capabilities, she would go with her Zanpakuto. Her Zanpakuto, generally speaking, do I actually have my Wakizashi over here? Wakizashi. It's a Wakizashi. Yeah, okay. So that's a Wakizashi, Japanese short sword. Like a standard katana, I have easy guns right here. That's a katana. Like, that's your standard long sword, not your longest sword, but there's the Wakizashi. And normally samurais would carry these in pairs, so you can immediately see the difference in length right out the gate. A Wakizashi is over a foot long. This is just that stupid small bot one. The handle is just messed up on that. That's why it's not displayed or anything. But yeah, the blade on that is roughly, it's been in there for a while, collect some dust. The blade on that, it's about a foot and a half. I think that's about about a foot and a half is what a Wakizashi is. So it's a very fast, very quick, good for parrying, but it's not going to be doing any power strikes. Let's put it right here for now. It's not going to be doing any power strikes like a katana or a kadachi would do. But it's not designed for that. Its release, sting all enemies to death, Suzume Bachi, turns it into a golden gauntlet with a long tip at the end. The tip is the assassination tool, where it pierces an opponent. What is known as a homunca mark appears, like a butterfly tattoo. And if you were to hit that spot a second time, it's literally instant death, unless you have enough energy to literally counteract her Zanpakuto's ability, overpower her Ryatsu, basically. Or if you just have kind of an antithesis type of ability. Someone, for example, who would be made of liquid who might be able to counter this, or something like that. I read a good crossover with that in Naruto at one point where Suigetsu got hit and whoop. Nothing worked on him, at least not with her. So it's a powerful ability, but does come at the cost of needing to be at close range. Her Bankai, Jakuho Raikobin, turns literally into a tactical nuke. It is literally a missile on a launcher. Now, when it hits, if it ever hits, it creates a massive explosion. The problem is it's something that she doesn't like using because it offends her as an assassin. But B, it's also one of those Bankais that has never actually really killed an opponent. As cool as it is, and as cool as it was to see it, it's very impractical because an opponent can see it coming a mile away. And a fast enough opponent can get out of the way or destroy it before it gets there. That's what Baragon, the second Espada, did. He basically rotted it and decayed it to the point where it just blew up before it ever actually hit him. And then was it KB or KGB9? The Quincy, the robot Quincy that took her Bankai initially in the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, he just straight out survived it. So, yeah, while impressive, it's certainly not the best Zanpakuto ever. At least in terms of its Bankai. So, if these two met up in a fight, who would win? I would imagine Soifon would be the aggressor, because Kazuma has a bit more of a laid-back but rude and disrespectful attitude. So I imagine that he would just kind of piss her off, and she'd come in at him. Even if I were to max out Kazuma to his max stats that we get, say, in the manga, I do not see him being faster than Soifon. And that immediately causes a problem for Kazuma. Because if Soifon wants to, and if she is, even if the gap is only like twice as fast, which I imagine she's at least twice as fast as him, then all she has to do is boop, boop, hit him twice. And Suzume Bachi is unique in the sense that you don't necessarily have to hit the exact same point. Like if she hits someone here in the shoulder, she doesn't have to hit that same spot per se. She could hit you from the back, the 2 points intersect, and that still counts. So it's actually a little bit more nuanced than just how it initially came off. And the problem just simply comes, she's never going to break out her Bankai against this guy. Even if he goes all out, maxes out his power, goes Avatar state, and maybe is briefly capable of matching her speed, she's just got to outlast him. Not to mention that she can still fire off her own Shunko, which admittedly maybe he could manipulate due to manipulating the wind. But at that point now, she just goes into hand-to-hand combat, and she's going to very quickly overwhelm him. Even if he's able to keep her at bay, trying to hit her with wind, slice the limb off. Again, her speed is not so fast that she's able to create after images. So it looks like she's literally occupying multiple spots at the same time. And if for some reason she has to go into Bankai, I don't see him having a proper defense for Bankai, because that thing literally is hitting with the power of a nuke. As powerful as he is, he does not have the power of a nuke. So, and this is all assuming the fight doesn't end immediately. So, I would go very much with Soifon in this match. Not to say that he'd be completely outclassed. If, for example, she doesn't try to kill him immediately and he quickly realizes, I need to up my game and go all out, the fight could drag on for a little bit. He could create a wind barrier that would prevent Suzume Bachi from getting through. He would also be throwing out attacks like Wind Gust, redirecting her attacks. If he does go into his full power state early on, the fight might drag out for a little bit. But at that point, then, it's simply a battle of attrition. Not to mention, she also could still use Kido abilities, such as binding spells. One of the ones she used is like a three prongs that make a triangle, and they very much just embed you. And it's just straight energy. It's not an element. So that theoretically could bypass his elements. Although, because the magic they use is based on spirits, it's possible it could repel a Kido. But even still, she has numerous, at least mid-level Kido under her belt, as well as low-level Kido. She is a master martial artist, whereas he's just a good fighter. She's naturally faster. She's naturally more skilled overall in combat. And, like, to top it off, she's hundreds of years old. Well, every Shinigami you're seeing in the series, save for the Rukia and Renji's kid, because, you know, they're only like 10, are hundreds, if not thousands of years old. Hell, Ichibei is theorized to maybe actually be millions of years old. We don't even know how old Yamamoto was when he died. We just know that no Shinigami had been stronger than him, or born stronger than him in 2,000 years. So we have no idea how old he actually is, or was, I should say. So yeah, Shinigami technically are kind of ageless. We've never seen one die of natural causes. they usually die when they die, like die in battle or whatever. Or if they're lucky, they get to retire. And that's if they're lucky. So, yeah, Soifon, I think, is just going to be an individual. Most of the Bleach, any of the Bleach cast, really, or most of them anyway, especially on the Shinigami side, would probably be too much for a character like Kazuma. Even though he is the strongest character in his own series, his series is very much limited compared to their series in terms of power output. I'm not saying he couldn't beat some Bleach characters. I'm not saying that. In fact, there's certainly more lower level ones, like, say, Omaida. In fact, a lot of the lieutenants theoretically could get beaten by Kazuma. But the captains, no, they're a tier or two way above him. Easy. But I digress. This is just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think Kazuma or do you think Soifon? Till then, thanks for watching. I'll see you folks for the next one. Later.